Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge, and I'm joined by Fabrizio Romano for the latest Manchester United news and transfer news. How are you doing, Fabrizio?
All great. Thank you. Thanks a lot, as always, for the invitation.
Great, thank you. Lots to get into, so I'll fly straight into it. I want to ask you about this Antony situation and a few bits on transfers, but let's start off with the stuff we tend to talk about quite a lot. Ask you about Sir Jim Ratcliffe in a moment, but Erik Ten Hag, I don't know whether you picked up on it last week, Fabrizio, but there was a huge amount of pressure from the media, from, to be fair, some United fans, and there was a feeling that maybe Ten Hag was approaching the end at Manchester United, which I find ridiculous, and I think a lot of our viewers found ridiculous. What's the situation? I know he's won at the weekend, so the pressure's off, but was there any real desire or fear that Ten Hag or Man United might be looking at the Sporting Lisbon manager or anything else last week?
No, not at all. Let me say that, obviously, I also saw all these stories, all these rumors around Erik Ten Hag, his future, the big pressure, yes, of course. I can also understand some points that you see these kind of stories because, as Pep Guardiola said, at Manchester United, when something happens, is always something important, and so it's obvious to see this kind of pressure in the media. But at the same time, from what I'm hearing, the reality is that internally they never consider that possibility to fire Erik Ten Hag, to speak to other managers, to contact maybe agents or agencies to discuss about other clients. Man United have never been in touch with Zinedine Zidane or Ruben Amorim or any other manager in the recent days. So there is absolutely nothing from what I'm hearing. They are still supporting the manager. Of course, it's normal when you have this kind of results, you want to see something different. And so it's normal to have internal discussions, how to fix the situation. But from what I'm hearing, they never considered another coach as the best solution to change this story at all. So at the moment, from what I'm hearing, they want to continue with this manager. They want to back this manager, obviously with different results, but not putting any extra pressure on Erik Ten Hag.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, how that was ran last week? But I would obviously, you would know more than me, but it's encouraging that United are not looking to remove him. We also, just before we talk about the Antony one, we also had a story on the weekend that Sir Jim Ratcliffe would want to work with Ten Hag and provide a structure around him, maybe Paul Mitchell, maybe a new CEO. I did want to ask you about the former CEO. I forget his first name, completely forgotten. Blanc is the surname.
Blanc, yeah.
When are we expecting, or when do you think we will have this change at United and Sir Jim Ratcliffe? Because I think fans are expecting Sir Jim to have some ownership now. But I think what they're really looking at is, when will we get this CEO? When will we get this director of football? And how good do you think that CEO would be for Manchester United if they went down the Blanc route?
Look, Blanc is an excellent director. I think what he did in his career at Paris Saint-Germain and then at Juventus, even before they restructured Juventus, before they started to win basically the league title every single year for 9 years. So, I think his career is speaking for him. He's not me needing to mention any words. He's a really important one. I think he's kind of perfect CEO because he knows very well what does it mean to work in important clubs. At Juventus, the pressure is very huge. In Italy, same at Paris Saint-Germain in France, and then all the other experiences he had. I think they needed Manchester United, someone who knows what does it mean to have some kind of public situations and some moments that you need to handle in a very fast way. And he knows that. He knows how to change sometimes the pressure on the media. This is too much on Manchester United at some points. And to have someone like Blanc could be absolutely crucial. So about the timing, as you asked me, I think by the end of this month, the situation should be clear in terms of, okay, Sir Jim Ratcliffe is coming in. Now he will have the power to act. So I think in the next 6-8 weeks, the situation will be clear in terms of board also. We mentioned Blanc. We know that Paul Mitchell is hoping to get this Manchester United job. He has this dream of working again in Premier League, and so it's a big opportunity. But at the moment, it's not done yet, as we already mentioned last week. He's still waiting for some steps before saying, okay, he's going to be the new director. But for sure, Paul Mitchell is a strong candidate. But this change with Sir Jim Ratcliffe is something that is absolutely expected internally. So they know that it's going to be a change. They know that he's going to have a sporting control, and it's normal to bring in new people. About the first part of your question on Erik Ten Hag, from what I'm hearing, he's still waiting to have a proper discussion with Sir Jim Ratcliffe. I think it's absolutely normal. When you invest a lot of money, you want to speak to the current manager, you want to understand the vision, to discuss about that. But Sir Jim Ratcliffe, in the internal discussions he had with people close to him from Ineos Group and those who will be close to him in this Manchester United new chapter, he never discussed another manager. So he's not like, okay, I want another one right now. So I think this is a positive news for Man United because, as you know, my opinion is that Man United need to fix some things, external things, not just internal, but also external things before saying, okay, it's on the manager.
Yeah, 100%. And would you expect these things to be in place by, I mean, it's hard, isn't it? Do you think we will have a CEO and a director of football in by the January transfer window, or do you think that might be a bit soon? Or
That's what they hope. That's what they really hope. Then, there are some technical steps that sometimes when you have a 25% stake and it's a big club like Manchester United, it takes time. So we also saw the same kind of process in February, March, when it was looking really close with the Qatari, and then everything collapsing. In this case, is on the right way. So the expectation is to get it done, as I mentioned, in the next 6-8 weeks. Then let's see. But for Man United, it would be crucial to have new people in for the January window. So I'm sure that they will try to do their best already for the January window to try to make an impact, and then to prepare for the summer transfer window. It's going to be the crucial one.
I have to ask you, if there was, let's say, an influx of cash in January, maybe 50, 100 million pounds, what do you think is possible from what you're hearing in January for, I mean, not necessarily just Man United, but because we don't know whether Man United will have any money, but are there certain sort of players that might be available in January, or do you think it's going to be difficult regardless of money?
Now, look, I think there will be some opportunities because of the Euros. This is the positive part, because when there are the Euros, there are some players who are maybe not so happy with their game time, and so you can go there and try to sign them, maybe on loan with an option to buy, or maybe go directly and buy the player because he wants to go and he wants to try a new opportunity. There's plenty of this kind of cases around Europe, so I think this is the positive part. And then I think there are some players, for example, for Man United, we always mention the centre-back. I'm still convinced that the next big investment at Manchester United is going to be an important centre-back. It's not easy to sign important players in that position in January. For example, players like Tapsoba or Todibo, they're doing very well in their clubs, Bayer Leverkusen and at Nice, so it's not easy to go there and sign the player. But in case they try to do something special, as you mentioned, if there is big money to invest, in that case, everything can change, because we saw that with Enzo Fernandez last year with Chelsea. It was absolutely untouchable for Benfica. Then Chelsea decided to go all in to pay the clause, and in that case, they signed the player. So I think there is still a chance for Man United to do something important, but in January, you need important investment or opportunities because of the Euros.
Yeah, and of course, you never know with Nice and Sir Jim. There might be a little bit of there might be something there. Let's talk about a story over the weekend. I've got no idea. I've been looking forward to asking you about this. There was talk of Barbosa and Antony and a loan deal. All I've said is we'll ask Fabrizio about this, because for me, Antony is a massive investment from Ten Hag. I just can't see it. And I mean, never say never in football. Maybe they send Antony back to Brazil because he just needs a bit of time out. I don't know. But anything in that story at all?
No. In this moment, absolutely nothing. The idea of Antony staying at Manchester United, doing his best for Manchester United, and from what I'm hearing, there is no negotiation at all at this point. I think we saw this rumor because Gabriel Barbosa and Antony shared the same agent, so I think it was pretty easy to create that kind of story. But at the same time, there is still no negotiation, nothing concrete. And for Man United, the priority now is to try to have the real Antony back. And it's obviously not an easy situation on and off the pitch for him. But I think it's not just Antony. It's for many players not an easy moment, for Man United in general. So they need to fix something and then to hope to have Antony back. At the moment, they're not negotiating for Antony to leave. My expectation is still the same. Say Jadon Sancho leaving Man United in January and Antony staying at least till the end of the season.
I was going to ask you about Jadon Sancho. It wouldn't be a show if we didn't. He's still not playing for Manchester United. I think the closer we get to Christmas and the Christmas trees are starting to come up and the decorations are starting to come out in the shops, I'm sure it's the same way you are, Fabrizio. Yeah. I don't see a way back for Sancho now. Is it what are we thinking? I suppose conversations will start to be taking place with his agent, with Man United and other suitors for January.
Yeah, for Man United, the situation is very clear. He's not apologizing, and so nothing is going to change. The feeling is very clear. Sancho is going to leave. And I think there is no way back. I would say it's 99.9% at this stage, also because his agents are starting to speak to multiple clubs around Europe, and not only Europe. For Man United, the best solution would be Saudi, obviously, because they can get some fresh money, so that would be absolutely perfect for them. But from what I'm hearing, Sanchez giving priority at the moment to European clubs. So before saying, okay, I'm moving to Saudi, he wants to explore all the options he has in Europe. As we know, there is interest from many clubs, but at the moment, still nothing really concrete, because many clubs are waiting to see at what point of the season, like December, where they are, what's their situation. So I think there is some time before they can say, okay, we go and try to sign Jadon Sancho. So maybe beginning of December, second week of December, in that moment could be clear. Also about Borussia Dortmund, we had many rumors in the last week, but at the moment, from what I'm hearing, Dortmund are waiting to see what's their future in the Champions League group before deciding anything. And for example, at Newcastle, is the same with the signings they want to do. So for many clubs, it's crucial to understand where they are in December. But I'm sure that for Sancho, there is no way back, and the idea is to part ways in January.
Such a shame. I mean, this time last year, he missed 3 months because of, issues that we're not fully aware of, but we understand were personal issues, and another 3 months missed from a very talented player. It's a real shame, but look, I think you've got to back Ten Hag in those situations, and I mean, the sooner the better it gets resolved, really. One of there's a couple of players I want to ask you about their future. Donny van de Beek, he did appear on the bench a few times, but despite the, Casemiro's injured, Rashford was injured at the weekend, still no Donny van de Beek on the bench. I find this one very odd because we spoke about Donny before he even came to Manchester United. He was a player I really liked. Yeah. And obviously he played with Ten Hag. So I don't think there would be a falling out there, but there's just no prospect of him coming back. And it just seems odd that he couldn't get a move in the summer. Surely he'd be a player that will go in January?
Yes, Donny will leave in January for sure. He has to, and he wants to because he wants to play. It's a shame because obviously Donny wanted to play for Man United. He loved this opportunity to be at Man United, but at the same time, he's never playing. And he also knows that after the injury, he needs regular football. So he can't stay on the bench or not even on the bench for a long time. This is not good for them, not good for Man United, for Donny. So from what I'm hearing, the reality in the summer was not that easy because Donny wanted to go to Real Sociedad and Man United wanted to make the deal happen. Then, as we know, it collapsed because of Man United asking for an important loan fee and the whole salary covered, and for Real Sociedad was impossible to pay that money. So the deal collapsed. Then Man United were hoping for Donny to accept maybe some opportunity in Turkey. He had some opportunity like Galatasaray or that kind of clubs, but Donny decided to turn down those opportunities and to wait for January transfer window. So Man United were not very happy with the attitude from the player. So there was some misunderstanding between Van de Beek and Man United during the summer transfer window. I think it's a pity because he's a very good player, but he has to play. He needs to play. He can't play like 10 minutes every 2 months. This is not for Donny van de Beek. So he's going to leave, yes.
And look, he played so well at the weekend. So many positive praise from the United fan base for Pellistri when he came on at the weekend. Really, the contrast between him and Antony. And I like Antony. We're not getting the real Antony, like you say, but Pellistri's a player that a lot of United fans really want to see him get game time. He came on against Fulham. He made a big impact. He got the assist. He closed the ball down. Is the plan for he's always a player that we talk about, and he's going on loan. He's going to stay. He's going to sign a contract. What do you think about Pellistri in January? Is there a good chance he stays now if Sancho goes?
Yeah, I think that could be a possibility. For Man United, it's absolutely crucial to extend this contract. It's something that they are discussing since March, since April. Then has been a bit slow because he changed something in terms of who's representing him. It's the same agent, but now partnering with an English agency. So they are together. So something changed in the negotiation. It still remains the same intention, the same plan. Pellistri is very happy at Man United, and the idea is to extend the contract. But they needed to restart some part of the negotiation, and this is why it was a bit slow in the recent months. But for Man United, it's understandable that they don't want to sell the player on loan if they don't have the new contract signed, because for them it's absolutely crucial to have a long-term deal before they send the boy on loan, and then maybe he returns with the 1 year left on his contract and you have a problem at Man United. So they want the deal to be extended. That's the point. They are discussing, they are negotiating. So I think the idea is still the same. Extend the contract as soon as possible and then decide in January together with the player whether it's better to send him on loan or keeping at Man United. But as you mentioned, with Jadon Sancho probably leaving, I think he has a chance to stay in case he continues to perform as he did against Fulham. I think it's a very good chance. And the attitude is always positive in training. The boy is super serious boy, super professional. And so Man United is really important to have someone really focused on football like Facundo Pellistri.
And probably the best one for me, saving it till last, Raphael Varane. Really weird week for Varane. Was on the bench again at the weekend. Was apparently benched for the Manchester derby instead of Johnny Evans, which, with all due respect to Johnny Evans, he's not Raphael Varane. We don't know whether he's unhappy. We don't know whether he's injured. Ten Hag says he's not injured. Varane, there was talk of Saudi in the summer. I, as a massive fan of Varane and seeing what's going on at the moment, this starting to worry me that we might see Varane moving, especially because of the injury problems he's had. Any sort of hints or rumours about that and Saudi Arabia maybe at the end of the season or even January?
No, they are interested for sure in Varane. They were already interested in the summer, in July, in August. In that moment, for Varane was not even a topic because he decided to stay at Man United, to stay in Europe. He didn't want to consider that opportunity in the summer. So it was not even a negotiation with United. It was just interest, but then on player side, it was a no. Then let's say in January, at the moment, from what I'm hearing, I saw those rumors, but I think it's just because the interest was there in the summer. Now they're not negotiating with Varane or with Man United. It's not the right moment. It is still too early to discuss about that. But obviously, in case Varane is not going to play in the next 2 months, the situation could change. So I would keep that one open. But again, at the moment, in terms of concrete news, they are not negotiating with Rafa Varane and not negotiating with Man United. The interest has always been there because obviously he's kind of perfect player, a lot of experience, a wonderful centre-back, but at the same time, it's not something concrete yet. So I think it also depends a lot for Man United on what happens with Lisandro Martinez and his recovery. The recovery of Lisandro is something crucial to understand their plans in January in terms of new centre-back also, because they really need to have some clarity on Lisandro as soon as possible. At the moment, it's going well, but they want to understand how he feels once he will be back at the end of December.
That's fantastic. Fabrizio, it's absolutely flown by. I knew it would do. An absolute pleasure having you on the show as always. And thank you for all your updates.
Thank you. Thank you as always. And see you soon. Thanks again.
Thanks, Fabrizio.
Ciao.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. I'm not going to go yet. Just got to send this message and then I'm going to talk to you about this Rashford stuff because I know a lot of you are interested in that. Let me just send this. Okay. Yeah, so really interesting stuff from Fabrizio there. I mean, I think the 99 point. I mean, look, the thing with Jadon Sancho is that we went from 90% club to 90% club that he was going to sign, and Fabrizio's just dropped 99.9% that he's going to go. I mean, it's all been about nines and percentages with Jadon Sancho, hasn't it? Hello, Mark. Do you know if there is anything solid between Guitasi and United, or is there no chance? Says Will. I've not heard anything about that. So look, let me just say there's a lot that Fabrizio's gone through there about the director of football and the CEO, and Antony's future looks good. It looks like it's total nonsense about any transfer talk. Ten Hag's future is totally safe and was totally safe last week. Looks like Donny's going to go in January. Sancho 99.9%. Pellistri, they're trying to work on a contract. There are options in January if there's money available. And Varane, watch this space, I suppose, is where we're at. Now, let me just be completely honest. It reminds me a little bit of this of when somebody leaked my real name years ago. And it was, oh my God. And I just clicked live and I went live because I don't believe in hiding. You know, some people talk about stuff and they go and disappear for 3 weeks and let it roll away. I'm not going to do that. I was out this morning. I was out early this morning with Seb. We were over in Leamington. We were filming the football fill-in and doing the Ben Foster show and all that. I've then got back and, you know, been informed that Marcus Rashford replied to a tweet that we did on the morning show. Effectively, I don't know if I can just get this tweet. I'm sure many of you've seen it. And I've got to say, I'm massively disappointed by it, but I'm not surprised. So let's have a look what he said. So we had a tweet this morning. Rashford's future in doubt. We're live. What next? Please stop spreading malicious rumors from Marcus Rashford with stop in capital letters. Now, I'm not scared of this. You know, there's people who are jumping on this because they don't like the United stand and they see it as an opportunity to, you know, dig into the channel and have a pop at the channel, which is fine. Haters are going to hate. I'm completely relaxed. I am not bothered. I'm disappointed, but I'm not bothered. I'm used to this. You know, I've spent all weekend calling out Gary Neville, Jamie Carragher, Michael Owen, the PGMOL, because the game is is a joke. I spent all last week arguing with people who were Ten Hag out because I'm Ten Hag in. I'm not bothered about having a conversation, and you know, but I'm disappointed by this because I don't really get what the problem is. Please stop spreading malicious rumors. The title of the show: Rashford's future in doubt? ? And then what next? We've done shows with the end on a thumbnail, the end of Anthony Martial, the end of Harry Maguire, the end of Luke Shaw. It's YouTube, mate. It's social media, mate. It's conversation. It's news. There's no malicious rumors in that at all. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Marcus Rashford, or maybe it's his PR team saying stuff like that. You don't watch the United stand, so why comment on it? Is it just is it for clicks and likes on stop trying to score on social media and start scoring on the pitch. Like, I like Rashford. I back Rashford consistently for years. He's been one of my favourite players at Manchester United. You don't watch the United stand, mate. So stop trying to win points off it from a certain section of the fan base. Because I could have absolutely quote tweeted that and said, stop partying late after a Manchester derby, please. Stop trying to win on Twitter, please. And focus on, there's loads of things I could have come back with. I mean, Rashford's not in a strong position at the moment to be bigging himself up on Twitter. I don't, why? Oh, I've got loads of retweets and likes. Score a goal for Man United, mate. You've not scored for bloody ages. You've not played well for ages. These are the things that could be levelled back at him. But I'm actually a big supporter of Rashford. Anybody who watches the channel knows I don't like the word Trashford. I think he was injured on Friday. I don't think he was dropped. We've got a video with Ben Foster I've just done where he thinks he was dropped and he's not injured. I think he was injured. I've constantly backed him. I've constantly backed Ten Hag picking him. So I'm very disappointed that Rashford decides to point score against an outlet and community that's very pro-Rashford. But that's the modern footballer for you. And maybe Rashford's not even written the tweet. Maybe it's his PR team. But you know what it is? It's the same as what Jadon Sancho did. Let's have a look at the time on this. So Marcus Rashford's time that he posted that was very shortly after the show. And it's the same thing that Jadon Sancho did. They see something they don't like and they get on social media. You know what you should do? Get your shorts on and get on the pitch and score some goals. That's what you need to do. Stop focusing on social media and what managers are saying and get on the pitch and prove people wrong. That's all we want. But I find it disappointing because you get people going, oh, Rashford's owned you, Rashford's done this, that, and the other. I've got no issue with Marcus Rashford. I like Marcus Rashford. I think he's a very, very good player. I'm sad to admit that the criticism he gets at the moment is completely valid. Listening to Talk Sport on the way back, you've got Martin O'Neill, very, very good manager, Jim White, very, very good journalist, and Simon Jordan, very opinionated former owner. They were tearing Rashford apart. They were tearing him apart on Talk Sport. I'm driving back and they're going, he shouldn't be out partying after a night out. It looks a really bad look. And I'm like going, well, at the end of the day, I mean, I don't know it's that deep, really. I think at the end of the day, a player going out after a night, after a game, is it the end of the world? I mean, apparently they were meant to be back in training on Monday and Ten Hag wasn't very happy about it. So let's not pretend that Marcus Rashford's in a strong position at the moment. He's been, disciplined by the manager again. He's being absolutely torn apart by the media because of it. And that's going to happen. But I mean, malicious rumours. What malicious rumours is he talking about? I don't know, because I don't really think that there is any issue with saying what next for Marcus Rashford. Is his future in doubt? Because Garnacho is playing ahead of him at the moment, and some would say he should play ahead of him. But, this is the problem with Manchester United. I just don't think some of the players get it. You play for Manchester United. Stop arguing with Manchester United fans. Stop winning on social media and win on the pitch. Stop making divisions. Nobody's against Rashford. I mean, some of you probably are, to be fair. Look, let's be honest. Some people will be against Rashford. That's the world. Some people will be against Bruno. Some people will be against Ten Hag. I mean, did Bruno Fernandes come out on Twitter when Gary Neville on national TV, when we got beat 7-0 at Anfield, and Gary Neville on comms live to the nation said, look at Bruno trying to get himself subbed off? That's not a malicious rumour. That's factually wrong. Did Bruno Fernandes get on Twitter and have a pop at Gary Neville? No, he didn't. He just gets on with it. And there is no malicious rumour about Marcus Rashford anyway. I support Marcus Rashford. I want him to do well. I don't know what Faz or Beth or anyone else thinks, but as far as I'm aware, they want Rashford to do well. So look, for me, this is just silly playground arguments about something that's completely irrelevant, and actually worries me about the mentality still in that dressing room, that they're monitoring social media and getting arguments about titles of videos and thumbnails, when if you watch the content, which you don't have to do, if you watch the content, it's a very different truth. I've consistently backed Marcus Rashford. I said he was going to win a Ballon d'Or in January. I do think on his day he's world class. I think he's got a massive problem with consistency. And maybe things like this are why, because he's taking too much focus on social media and brand and not enough focus on the pitch. He's a fantastic player that needs to find consistency and is not playing well at the moment. And picking arguments with people who actually support you concerns me. It's not the mentality of a Manchester United player. I want him playing against Copenhagen and scoring a hat-trick. I want him playing against Luton and scoring a hat-trick. I want him playing at Anfield next month scoring a hat-trick. All of me wants that, and I'm sure all of you do as well. I just think this sort of thing, I mean, publicity-wise, it's good for him. It's good for us. Of course it is, but I don't like it. I don't like it. There was no reason for it, and you're not playing well. So why are you putting your hand up when you're not playing well? Get on the pitch, look in the mirror, focus on you. You're a talented player, and you're picking arguments with the wrong people. Are you going to have a pop at TalkSport because they've just spent an hour ridiculing you and having a go at you because you were out partying? You're going to quote tweet them and tweet about them? No, you're not. You've done it against us because you know certain people don't like the United stand, and it's a win. It's childish. It's ridiculous. And actually, you've aimed shots at people who actually support you. You've just misread it. So I'm disappointed by it. I'm not bothered about it. It's life. Haters are going to hate. I'm not really that bothered. But look, at the end of the day, I'm a fan of Rashford. Years of it are evidenced on this channel. And, admittedly, I did say a year ago he should have gone to PSG. No, not a year ago. At the end of the Rangnick season, I would have sold him because I thought he was finished at United. I think he looked like he was checked out. His brother had been to PSG. And I think it would have been best for everyone if he'd gone. But he turned it round with Ten Hag and he got the plaudits and he was amazing last year. And he's been disappointing this year. But picking arguments on Twitter, I mean, come on. We're Manchester United. I mean, fucking hell. Can you imagine Roy Keane doing this? We need the mentality. It worries me. It always worries me when anybody who is a professional footballer is arguing with people on Twitter about injustice and this, that, and the other. Because really, I think what really professional players do is they just prove people wrong on the pitch. Harry Maguire at the moment, he can walk around Billy Big Bollocks because he's playing well on the pitch. No one can have a pop at him because he's playing well on the pitch. He doesn't need to get into Twitter arguments. But look, I've had my say on it. I find it disappointing because I think it's been misinterpreted and I think it's an unfair representation of what we think of Marcus Rashford. But it's a free world. He's entitled to do what he wants. I continue to support him. I think he's a fantastic player. I think he's got the potential to be consistently world class. But it's up to him if he wants to misinterpret things. I can't do anything about that. But I'm not going to not react to things, and I'm not going to be worried about it or go, oh my God, my day's ruined. I don't care. I've been out all morning. I wasn't really aware about it until I got back. I've got obligations to do the interview with Fabrizio, which I really enjoyed. We've got a video coming up at 4:00 with Ben Foster talking about Marcus Rashford before we even knew about his tweet, which you can listen to what Ben had to say about that. I still stand by the fact that he was injured at the weekend because it makes no sense to drop him for Fulham, but then have him on the bench against Newcastle, which was also after the party. So I don't think he was dropped at the weekend. I think he was on the bench. I think he was injured, but there's your hater. Thanks everyone for watching. We're back at 4:00. I'm back on my EAFC career mode at 3:30. I won't be selling Rashford. He's a very important player in my career mode. I'm not bitter like that. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. You are all legends. Appreciate it. And I'll speak to you a little bit later.